I love Animal Crossing. I've been playing since Wild World on the Nintendo DS. Heck, I bought a Switch only when they announced New Horizons. It's a franchise that really means a lot to me. That being said, Pokemon Pokopia kind of completely blew Animal Crossing out of the water. Oh, and don't worry, I'm not gonna jump. I just need to clean my gutters. What I would like to do today is compare Animal Crossing and Pokopia in 3 areas: premise, progression, and personality. And then I want to take a look at something that both of these games do that I used to think was cool, but now as an adult, I think is actually really annoying. I'll give you a hint. It doesn't start with a P. All right, let's get started. So the premise of pretty much each Animal Crossing game is that you are moving out of your mom's house to get a little slice of country living in a little small town living with friendly animal humanoids. You do some chores for Tom Nook, and then you're set loose to just do as you see fit as far as decorating things, selling things for money, enjoying the peace and serenity. Now there is some variation in there. One of the games, you become mayor, which gives you a little bit more purpose and agency for why you're making the town look good. And then in the most recent one, you kind of are charged with turning this deserted island into a full-blown town. All for Tom Nook, though, that greedy bastard. But beyond that, there isn't really much of a story. Well, with Pokopia, I think there's a much more interesting premise here. In this game, some sort of apocalyptic event has caused humans and Pokemon to disappear. We don't know why. You play as a Ditto who has chosen to take the form of a human, and your goal is to try and make the world beautiful again in the hopes that you can bring back more Pokemon and eventually humans. Throughout the game, you'll find little pieces of paper or logs that will give you a little bit more background information about what might have happened to the humans and this world. It's not a lot, but it is intriguing, and it does make you want to finish out the game's story so that you can find out what happened. And I just think Animal Crossing could use something like that. I think the premise for the original game was beautiful, perfect, didn't need anything else. As we've just passed by game 4, we need a little bit more. Yes, I know that they added the mayor thing I mentioned and the deserted island thing, but I'd like a little bit more than that. I don't need a full-blown campaign, an RPG. I'm not looking for something like that, but maybe just like a little bit more background about the characters or a little bit more world building. I think that would go a long way into keeping players interested. And that sort of leads me into progression. The way progression works in Animal Crossing does play out pretty much the same across all the games. You progress by purchasing items in the store every day. Once you buy enough stuff, spend enough bells, then one day you'll get on and it'll say, hey, the store's upgrading, come back tomorrow. And then it will upgrade to the next store level, and then the same thing happens again. You pay off your loan and then can upgrade your house, and you can do that a few times. You collect bugs, fish, fossils, and that allows you to fill out your museum. Each game has a certain amount of criteria for you to be able to roll credits, but usually that's a byproduct of what you're already doing, like making the town look nice, getting KK Slider to come to town. Rolling credits on Animal Crossing is not what anyone would consider actually beating the game. But that's kind of it. Eventually, what Animal Crossing always ends up becoming is just making sure you complete your daily log-ons. Like you log on, make sure you check the store to see if there's anything you want, making sure you hit your money rock for the day so you can get however many bells that gives you, and then doing whatever other random things kind of catch your attention as you're playing. In Pokopia, there's actually a campaign. So the game is split into several areas. You start out in the first area, which is this nice, beautiful little grassy area. Well, it becomes beautiful. And you have a set of objectives. You have to do tasks for some of the Pokemon. You have to rebuild the Poke Center until eventually it all culminates in you having to get Kyogre's help, legendary water Pokemon, to make it rain. Once you do that, you've sort of beaten the first area, and the second area unlocks. And once you get to the second area, it's almost like the whole thing starts over again. This area, instead of a nice little simple grass area, is more of like a city. And you've got to restore electricity and do other tasks for different Pokemon. I just really like the way progression works in Pokopia. You gain new abilities as you play. If you don't want to be overwhelmed by the idea of sort of starting over again by going to the next area, you can just stay in the first area and have a peaceful time. But if you want that kind of sense of adventure, that sense of I need a new objective, move on to the next area, and so on and so forth. And that's something I wish that Animal Crossing would do. I would love it if Animal Crossing had different areas you could go to. Honestly, City Folk is one of my favorite, if not my favorite, Animal Crossing, and that's because of the city. In that game, you can hop on a bus and go to this small little section of the city. There's not a lot to do, but I thought it was so cool to see sort of a different side of this world. Buy some balloons, see the fancy furniture store, go catch a matinee. I wish Animal Crossing would have gone more in that direction. Again, the reason I think that Pokopia system would work for Animal Crossing is because the objectives are entirely optional. The game does not force them. It doesn't force you to go to the next area or any other area. You can stay and customize your little grassy village as long as you would like. But for the player that would prefer a little bit more direction, I think this would be awesome. And I don't think it at all would ruin the spirit of Animal Crossing. And finally, I just kind of want to talk about personality in these games, specifically when it comes to the animal characters. Animal Crossing has a bunch of different animal villagers with their own personality type. There's like the jock types. These will be your gorillas and your frogs. They're obsessed with working out. You've got your like bratty, stuck-up type. This will be like your mouse and your duck. And then you've got your S-tier villagers like Gus. If he moves into your village, you are blessed. I think the original Animal Crossing actually did a really good job with this. Somewhere along the way, things have gotten bad. New Horizons, everybody knows it. The characters are pretty bland. You get repeat dialogue all the time. There's just not a lot of originality. In Pokopia, each Pokemon has new lines of dialogue for you. Yes, maybe you can't really like spark up a conversation every time you talk to them, but when you do meet them for the first time, they say new things you've never seen before, and they say things that fit what you would imagine the personality of the Pokemon to say. I don't think it's unreasonable to request that each villager in Animal Crossing have a unique dialogue, things specific to that villager. It should feel exciting for a new villager to move into town. It should feel devastating when a villager decides they want to leave. In New Horizons, when an animal told me they were moving out, didn't feel a thing. Please, Nintendo, put a little bit more work into the personalities. And finally, the thing that both of these games do that as a kid I thought was cool, but now as an adult I think is the worst. A clock that is real time. A clock that follows the real world's clock. Do you know what this results in for a man who works a 9 to 5? That means every time I get on the game, it's nighttime in the game. I want to see the sun. I want to hear different music. These games have music that is tied to certain times a day. I can't experience any of that because I go to work, I get home from work, I gotta think about dinner, I gotta exercise, and then finally I can sit at my desk or sit in bed, play the game, and oh, it's nighttime. And I know what you're thinking, well, just change your system clock. No. That's annoying. I don't want to have to change my system's entire clock just so I can experience different times of day within the game. To be honest, I don't even know how this worked for me as a kid because I still had school. So there's no way I was seeing like a large portion of the different, the morning time, the afternoon time. Listen, I have no problem with things taking real world time to accomplish. You know what I mean? Like if you have to upgrade a store and it says come back tomorrow, I don't mind that meaning like literally tomorrow in real life. I have no problem with that, but just make the day-night cycle be over the course of a shorter period of time, like an hour. That doesn't feel unreasonable to me. So yeah, the whole gutter cleaning thing didn't really work out as I hoped. I don't really have a lot of gutters, and I think they're covered, so they really aren't dirty that much. I just really kind of wanted to be on a roof.